In your presentation, Mr. Secretary, you mentioned that you proposed 245 billion pesos for next year's budget for the AFP modernization program to cover the huge deficiencies from Horizon 1 to 3. But you were given only 75 billion in the net. So who determined, Mr. Secretary, kung magkano bibigay ng, sa inyong departamento?
Your Honor, because that is the based on the absolute budget ceiling that the President submits to Congress, and that is based on the fiscal capability on an appropriation basis that the government can support with acceptable deficit spending and revenue. So it is part of the whole national expenditure program. So, Your Honor, it is an interagency committee from the DBCC that then decides to parcel out. And knowing that, Your Honor, we have to resort to outside financing for it, and hopefully we can get the support of the DOF, the Monetary Board, the banking system, and Congress to allow us to do so.
So, Mr. Chair, it is the executive department that
Yes, Your Honor.
that determines the ceiling
For
for all government expenditures, including programs and projects such as
Yes,
the
Your Honor.
AFP modernization program. In your presentation, you mentioned, Mr. The Secretary, mentioned that the amount of 75 billion pesos will be used to cover 11 ongoing MYCA projects due for payment in 2025, 25 priority projects from Horizon 2 and Horizon 3. So, can you give us an update on these projects? Ano po ba ang mga projects na ito? I suppose that these projects will be for territorial defense. Am I right, Mr. Chair? 11 and 25 projects.
There are 11 projects, Your Honor. That's the combat engineer equipment, riverine operations equipment, 3 lots. Those are the pontoon bridges that we are saying. Additional light aircraft for the Philippine Air Force. These are the intra-theater aircraft, the CASA 212Is, 6 units, the 32 units of additional Black Hawks, 3 units of C-130J models, additional Bell 412 units, 8, a Philippine Naval Corvette, 2 units, the offshore patrol vessels, there are 6 units. Command and control equipment of the Philippine Navy, 2 lots. 2 landing docks of the Philippine Navy. And the shore-based anti-ship missile systems, 3 batteries.
So that's in addition to the BrahMos that have been delivered already? Or payment for the what has been delivered already?
Those are continuations of the project, Your Honor.
So MYCA, okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
So not a new project, not
No.
additional batteries
No,
of
Your Honor.
BrahMos.
No, Your Honor.
Okay,
Those are to fulfill the original
to
order.
fulfill the original. Okay. So, Mr. Chair, it was announced during the recent 2+2 meeting with Secretary Blinken, Secretary Austin, with you and Secretary Manalo of the FA, that the U.S. government will give $500 million as foreign military financing for 2025. So, this is equivalent at current exchange rate to about 28 billion pesos. So, my question is, how will this be utilized by the DND AFP? Will this FMF be used as additional funding for these Horizon 3 projects?
No, Your Honor. It will be part of the bridging between Horizon 3 and our command and control capabilities and our interoperable capabilities. So the initial 500 will go to command and control,
That is also part of the
which
program.
will allow our commanders to effectively communicate with each other in a secure way, get information in a secure and hardened manner, and down to the command level, and interoperate in a secure level with our allies and partners, which is missing right now.
Yes. That is also part of the modernization program of the AFP.
Actually, Your Honor, it is a necessity.
Yes,
Because we cannot use commercial platforms for command and control.
So we can also attribute that to the modernization program of the AFP.
Yes, Your Honor, because without
Yes.
it, the modernization program will be without a foundation.
Yes. So, on top of the 75 billion pesos that you will receive for the modernization program, this 28 billion pesos, equivalent of the 500 billion pesos, that would be about 103 billion pesos that would be available to upgrade the capabilities of AFP.
Yes, Your Honor, but I must clear that the 500 million will come in capabilities and not in cash.
Okay, not in cash.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chair, my next question to the Secretary is about the situation in the West Philippine Sea. Definitely, we are at a disadvantage as far as the West Philippine Sea situation is concerned. And I believe that our disadvantage can be attributed in no small measure to our lack of adequate naval capabilities. Will the Secretary agree?
Not only our lack of naval capabilities, but when China started doing its illegal acts, and other actors started to harden their presence years before, we should have already also pushed investments into creating forward posts in the area. And that would have hardened our posture. So the lesson, Your Honor, is we procrastinated in or in putting aside a threat. And in these types of situations, time is always an asset that you cannot recover anymore.
Yes.
So that is, to me, is the main lesson there, and that is the main cause. Naval capabilities, air capabilities are subsumed to the initial strategic decision to harden the areas. We should have done it immediately at that time, and now we should do it double time where we can.
Yes. I agree with you. I agree with the Secretary, no, Mr. Chair. Yung ating maraming taon ng underfunding sa ating AFP, underinvestment sa pag-build up ng ating naval capabilities. And also, siguro, hindi ganun ka-priority ang Navy in the past, no? So we are now experiencing, no, itong nangyayaring ito. But of course, di pa naman huli ang lahat. We can still hope to catch up, sabi nga ni Secretary, double time, even triple time. You mentioned in the presentation that the Navy will get 7.6 billion pesos sa 2025. Ano po ba ito? Is it for additional equipment, for example? Will this be used, for example, to equip yung ating mga na-deliver na ng mga naval assets like yung frigates, yung cunning corvettes? Kasi puro kasi tayo yung fitted for but not with. Nangyayari, fitted for but never nangyayari kasi walang pondo. So ito po bang 7.6 billion will be used to properly equip yung ating mga existing naval assets?
Yes, Your Honor, and that is actually the specific program that we have instructed the Navy. It's to bring up to speed the combat weapon systems of all our vessels. Because if not, they will remain hulls with guns and not effective at all. So a lot of this will go to upgrading the connectivity of our command and control to the naval vessels, and the capabilities weapon-wise of our naval ships. But also, Your Honor, it's the construction really of adequate port facilities for the Navy, because we have 8 or 10 vessels arriving, and we have to fast-track the places where we can dock them and service them safely. Port San Felipe is not a viable area anymore for large vessels in Cavite City, Your Honor. Just to get in and out of there, you have to zigzag between the fish cages and the fish pens that are in there.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with the Secretary na kahit siguro yung ating mga barko ng Navy ay hindi ganun kadami, pero kung adequate ang firepower, ay they can provide deterrence, and they can patrol our exclusive economic zones and show the flag, so to speak. So I am happy to note na yung 7.6 billion for the Navy will be used to equip yung mga fitted for but not with items. Ano po? Now, Mr. Secretary, ano po yung status na ng ating multi-role fighter? You mentioned na yung 12 aircraft, 12 fighter just will make a difference, and that we need 36. I saw in the news in the past na mayroong proposed transfer of so many units from the US. Ano po bang status nun?
Wala pong proposal na ganun. There have been proposals na kumuha ng used equipment nung araw by non-government entities, but it will not be interoperable with our new systems and the systems of our allies. This will just be old fighters without capabilities, with standard capabilities which our FA-50s have. and our upgraded FA-50 capabilities will even exceed the capabilities of those that have been proposed. So now we are open for tenders, Your Honor, for new MRFs in a defense order quantity of 40.
Yes.
However, they have to submit the proposed financing package where we can spread out the financing. If you notice ho, itong mga MICA, and sinabi ko din po sa planners, bakit ang 5 taon lang ang MICA natin? Inaano natin yung payment ng 5 taon. Ihabaan natin para mas ma-afford nung ano. Tapos may iba na kumakagat sa schemes na no pay muna sa ilang years, tapos starting on the 7th year, ang laki naman ng amortization. So, ang instruction ko ho, hatiin nyo sa at least 60% of the useful life of the asset. Ganun kahaba dapat ang financing para mas digestible ng ekonomiya. And then, kung ma-syndicate yung loan, spread ang risk, mas mababa ang interest rate. So, yun po ang pinag-uusapan namin ngayon. Kasi dapat hindi ko kakayanin kung gaa talaga.
Totoo po yun, Mr. Chair, no? I agree with the Secretary. Laging problema ang funding sa GAA, no? Kaya sinabi nyo kanina na creative financing for syndicated loans, ano? Sana mapayagan ang AFP, DND to obtain loans to acquire yung equipment ninyo. Kasi sa local government, pinapayagan na mag-loan to procure mga heavy equipment, no? So why not sa AFP to finance the modernization program? My question is, do you need a legislative mandate for that? Because we can support.
I think it will help a lot, Your Honor, because just to clear out that there is by a presidential decree or an RA, a ceiling on the amount of loans that one can incur for defense. I think it's $300 million in total foreign loans. That's fine. That's fine. We can source local loans. However, the Monetary Board and the BSP must be on board because for ESG purposes, banks are not allowed to lend to defense establishments. Now, I think the intent there was to prevent financing offensive weaponry, which the world has changed. And I think Europe is at the lead in financing the defense industries of their own countries to supply Ukraine. And this is not, what we are acquiring are not small arms or arms that can be used to inflict wanton harm or destruction against any person, but deterrent capabilities to protect sovereignty, which will help the investment climate of the country because it redounds to a more stable enforcement situation. For example, if there are joint activities in the West Philippine Sea or the East Sea, proponents will not propose if the area is not secure. So we have to secure the areas within our EEZ and our cyberspace also, insofar as the military domain is concerned. So I hope that the Monetary Board and the banks will allow for these kinds of lending on a syndicated basis.
I agree with the Secretary, Mr. Chair, that there is a connection between security and development, national security and national development. So maybe talagang kailangan yung legislative mandate para ma-facilitate itong bagay na ito. So if your team, if your staff can come up with a proposal or a bill for this, then we're willing to work with you, no? Para dito, no?
Thank you, Your Honor.